I spent tens of thousands of dollars generating leads consistently through Facebook ads, email, any channel that you can think of, but none of them were closing until I changed this one thing. And if you're facing a similar situation where you're generating a ton of leads, but none of them are closing, I can guarantee you this video will give you a ton of clarity and show you how to fix the issue, which took me months and even years to figure out. If you're new around here, my name is Andreas, and I've been for the past 4 years the CEO of Python Marketing, an online agency that specializes in helping founders to step away from the daily grind of client acquisition. You can see just on High Level plus Calendly, I've booked over 1,000 sales calls just for my agency. In the past 6 months, I've sent over 58,000 emails. And that's excluding campaigns that I deleted from back in November and so on. Generated well over 137 leads through email, through ads on 2 separate ad accounts totaling over $30,000 in ad spend. This is a different currency, just to be clear. I've generated, as you can see, thousands and thousands of leads. This is the current campaign that I'm running, but I've tried absolutely everything from messaging conversations to website leads, Inform, Facebook, absolutely anything, but I still couldn't close anybody. All those leads were being generated, but I got hit with a ton of no-shows. The people that did show up had a ton of objections, and then the people that didn't have any objections just rejected the offer outright. They constantly said that the price was too high, that they didn't trust either the company or the process that it would work out, and some other people went to think about it. As you can imagine, they never came back. And the real issue was that my funnel wasn't giving people a reason to show up, trust me, and close. This is one of the ads that I've used to generate leads in the past. As you can see, it's really simple. It doesn't really tell you much about the offer. We were just generating leads through Facebook forms. And then once we got those people to send their information, we would try to call them with no landing page, with no information. People had zero reason to, 1, pick up the phone, and 2, to actually book in an appointment or even close. And the truth is that this ad was generating me a ton of leads. It was getting me around $6 per lead. But just because I was seeing those leads being generated and appointments being booked, and just to be clear, this ad did not book any appointments, but from other ads, the appointments were being booked. It didn't mean anything if the people didn't show up, and much less close. Since we were not getting any buy-in from the leads to actually show up to the appointments, they had no reason to, and they just ended up no-showing because there was no buy-in from the leads to actually show up to the appointments. Imagine you're scrolling on Facebook, you see this ad and you're like, okay, it sounds funny. I might want to learn more about how they generate leads with AI and close 20 deals a month. They click on it. They have to send their information where you're like, I don't really want to send my phone number, but whatever, I just want to see what they got. You send your information and a day later you get a phone call from a guy that tells you, hey, I saw you submitted some info regarding automating your solar sales. I'm just calling to schedule the appointment to see if it makes sense for you. As you can imagine, there's no buy-in. There's no real reason for them to actually be like, oh, this is something that's really interesting and I actually want to show up. So of course, people wouldn't pick up the phones. The ones that would pick up the phone would schedule an appointment, but since there was no real reason to actually show up, they would just no-show. And the ones that did actually show, since they didn't have any prior information, no YouTube videos, no landing page, no website, no nothing, all the pressure was on the sales call. And if they didn't know who we were, which as I said, we didn't send any information prior, so they never knew who we were, they just had to take a leap of faith on the call to actually close. And that's what brings us to the tipping point where I said enough is enough. We actually need to change the funnel to decrease quantity and increase quality, even if apparently I'm getting a higher cost per lead. And of course, a fewer amount of leads and a fewer amount of appointments. I need to take the leap because all those leads that I'm generating with the previous funnel, they don't mean absolutely anything because I'm not converting anybody into a paying customer. So I ditched completely ads that didn't explain the proposal completely. We gravitated more for video ads that explained more the proposal and qualified them inside of the Facebook forms, once again, to increase quality, increase buy-in, and make sure that no one that is unqualified is slipping through the cracks and wasting our time. Then on the appointment setting phase, instead of just calling 30 seconds and being like, hey, you want to book in an appointment about automating your solar sales, we actually try to get buy-in right on the appointment setting call. So it looks more like a discovery call right away to actually get buy-in, asking questions like, what's the biggest bottleneck that you're facing right now? What other solutions have you tried in the past? And giving them a little bit of information about our program, about the AI, so they're actually excited to hop on the call and actually close. Aside from just setting the appointment correctly, we send over a bunch of YouTube videos which include testimonials, a complete explanation on how the proposal works, so we don't have to rely just on the sales call to perform perfectly and close the deal. We have other sales assets which are hosted on YouTube, once again, which do the selling for us, which give trust without us having to convince anybody. Of course, when you pair that up with an irresistible offer on the sales call, closing becomes much easier. I'm going to link a video below of the exact funnel I'm using today, from generating a ton of leads but having few to no closes at all. I hope to have given you a ton of clarity. This change in my funnel and in the sales process was an absolute game changer, from just generating leads to actually getting people to close. Once again, copy and paste my entire funnel with the video below, and I'll see you on the next one.